Facebook page, Let's Talk Addiction, and the Heart Foundation, which is helping addicts recover today. Who I really am is I'm Robin Higginbotham, a recovering heroin addict. And I guess I really don't know how I want to start or whatnot, because I'm not really a polished speaker, but I do believe in trying to share my story to shine some light on the plight of the addict and how recovery works for me. I'm only here by the grace of God and the 12-step recovery program, and the fact that people saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself, and it's given me the encouragement to move forward with my life. I've been an active user for 35 years. I've had long periods of sobriety in that 35 years, but most of that time I was struggling with my addiction. My earliest childhood memories, I was approximately 3 years old, and what I can remember is the sound of my dad beating my mom, and I felt helpless, and I tried to stop him from abusing her, and I wasn't able to do that. And he threw me off, kicked me down the hall, and he locked me in my bedroom so that all I could do was listen, and I started having lots of helplessness and shame because I couldn't do anything to help her. And that continued on into my teens. And as the abuse continued, I was a victim of verbal and mental, physical abuse, demeaning, made to feel like I wasn't worth anything. And I carried those feelings of guilt and shame with me from that early age, and I started experimenting with drugs. Growing up in an alcoholic home, there were a lot of family functions, and I remember being small enough to fit underneath the table like that, in amongst the chairs, and I would reach up and grab their drinks and drink them underneath the table, and they thought that was hilarious. I was a little kid, drunk, walking around, walking into walls, tripping over stuff, just being a kid, being drunk, and they thought, oh, look at Robin, how cute he is, and this and that, and then that's when I developed a love for alcohol. And then I progressed to, I remember taking pills out of the medicine cabinet. I didn't know what anything was, but I knew it made me feel good. And then all those feelings of guilt and shame I carried with me, and it got me into a lot of trouble. And then I wasn't getting the attention I wanted at home, so I developed a pattern of attention seeking. And I had a good heart, and I was a good kid, but I was willing to do different things, and I developed a pattern of risky behavior and destructive behaviors as well. And I was willing to seek out attention wherever I could find, and it led me down the wrong path at a very early age. And then I just hanging out with older kids, and experimenting with different things, and using drugs helped me manipulate my feelings, and it helped quiet the voices in my head and help me with my fear. And I've lived a life of fear from life, from circumstances and people. And I'm not only addicted to drugs, I'm addicted to relationships. I'm addicted to feel good. Anything that makes me feel good, it takes me out of myself, is what I'm addicted to, and I will use it to excess. I don't have an on and off switch. I've lived a life of destructive behaviors, and I've ended up in prison. I've overdosed on heroin multiple times and died. The drugs helped me and enabled me to do things that I would never do any other time. And using drugs at an early age, it warped my developmental part of my brain, and it stunted my emotional growth. And it changed my brain chemistry so that I wasn't able to rationalize and think properly. And once your brain chemistry is altered, you don't make good decisions. And then when you have all this fear and hurt and shame and wanting to belong, coupled with all that, I went for whatever made me feel good. And like I said, it's led me down the wrong path.
How did you get help?
How did I get help? I've been in and out of recovery most of my life, and mostly when I couldn't deal with life on life's terms, and I was forced into situations where I've been into treatment multiple times. I've been homeless to the point that I pushed shopping carts on the streets of Phoenix, Arizona. I've watched people die, killed. I've got scenes of violence and death in my head that I can't get out. And that's also kept me from getting clean because the drugs helped me deal with that stuff. My last, I've been sober since June of last year, and I got... I appreciate that, thank you. I had found a new bottom. I was very suicidal. I was broken. I was in a terrible relationship with another addict that I had originally started my relationship as a caretaker, trying to get her sober, and she didn't want that. So I ended up relapsing along with my prescription meds that I got from the VA. And I ended up, I left Ohio and went to Florida, and ended up in the VA system down there. Went through detox, got involved with a veterans program. 6 months into the program, I graduated and I started working in treatment. And I found that I had a knack for talking to people and relating to their pain and misery because I've been that guy on multiple levels. You know, I've done things that I'm very ashamed of, and I know that there's a better way to go. And it started out just getting sober and being willing to try something different. And I got involved with 12-step recovery again. I got a sponsor. I started working with other people, and it's grown to what it is now. I started working in treatment as a behavioral health tech, and I found that I meshed really well with the clientele. And then through all this, my partner and I, Donna Carmesino, she lives in Cincinnati. I am from Ohio, but from 3 hours north. My hometown is Hicksville, Ohio, which is on the Indiana border, 30 miles from Michigan. And I wanted to come home. And then I had some legal issues that came out while I was down there, so I wanted to come home and face up to that stuff. But we put together the Facebook page, Let's Talk Addiction. We met another recovery group and found that it didn't have any substance to it. There was nothing. You know, a lot of people bitching and complaining, pardon my language. But we put together Let's Talk Addiction as a forum for people to reach out for help. We provided awareness, education, networking opportunities. We promote hope. And there is definitely hope, even when you can't see it. Even in your weakest moments, there are options. And I've been listening to Macklemore lately. He's a musician, rap guy, and one of the lines of his songs is, "If I can be an example of getting sober, I can be an example of starting over." That's who I am. If I can get sober and live a meaningful life, anybody can, because I've come from the bottom, very bottom. I had nothing. I left with nothing on my back to go to treatment because I had nothing to lose, and nothing left to lose except for my life at that point. And I was living a subpar existence in a world that I didn't belong. And that's a situation for a lot of us. We get addicted, and then the craving, the phenomenon of craving, the compulsions to get the drugs. Because once we change our brain chemistry to and the reward center of our brain gets used to that. I've lived a life of extremes, and living up here in this awesome feel-good experience, you know, from my body and my mind, to coming down to live where y'all live, you know, where I thought that was boring because it was just not exciting to me. Well, I love that life now, and the way I look at it, I don't know the technical terms for anything, but when you got your receptors in your brain and you're on drugs and they're going like this, and you got your receptors over here and you got this thing over here shooting this, and it gets used to catching this big old powerful burst, and then it stops, and it's craving that, and it goes into spasm. That's what withdrawals like. It's a craving to feel like that again, and that's all you think about. That's all you think about. You'll do it. You try to get your fix at whatever cost, and it's not the fact that your family loves you. I mean, we know that, but it doesn't take precedence over that yearning and craving to feel good again, and we get used to that, and just feeling normal is not a good feeling for us, especially if we have things that we deal with in our mind, things that we push back, we never deal with. So what I had to do is I had to find out what my core issues were, because nobody wants to grow up to be a drug addict. And once you get into that lifestyle, it's good for a while, but it stops being partying, because it starts out as, networking socially, and meeting people, but that goes away really quickly, and all you have left is a really bad habit, and the consequences of it all.
Robin, you mentioned how people can reach your website. Do you have a big event coming up that you can tell us about?
Sure. We have we've partnered with Rockers in Recovery, which is a national nonprofit from Florida. I was able to, while I was in Florida, I was able to meet with them and be at their event. They promote the message of recovery, awareness, and hope through rock concerts. They are professional rock musicians. The leader of the band is a Hall of Fame rock and roll musician. His name's Lou Esposito. We're having an event June the 6th in New Richmond. I'd love to have you all there. If you want to set up a booth, that'd be great. Anything we can do, we want a network. The only way we can fight this is the network, and support each other, and be there and do events like this, because no one person has the answer to this, because it's a multifaceted issue, and the more resources we have at our disposal, the better. And I can be reached on Facebook. I'm handing out cards, our Let's Talk Addiction page. I got 2 Twitter pages up now. We have 3 other Facebook pages. But if you're hurting and you need somebody to talk to, get a hold of me, because I will talk to you. I've been in your shoes, and I know that you can be saved. You don't have to live the life you live, and there's no such thing as disposable people. God saved me from death multiple times, from drug overdose and the lifestyle. I've had guns in my ears, my mouth, knives, been stabbed. I'm still here. I've been in the military, I've been around the world, witnessed violence, like I said, and I'm still here for a reason. And I'm here for whoever wants to reach out. And I know one thing for sure, that I can't help you if you're not willing to help yourself. Thank you, Jan, for having me.